going on, everybody out there? This is Popular Stranger, and we are back at you again today with another Madden 21 Ultimate Team video. So the market has crashed this weekend due to Series 3, all of the new Redux cards and packs. We got some pretty good Legends today, so people are opening up packs, and that has driven down the price of training very, very low. A lot lower than I even expected this early in the year. So we're going to go over not only how to get the cheapest training right now, but what would you do with it, right? Because one would think it's just for powering up, but there are a lot of different things you can do with training right now. So let's first go over the cheapest training in MUT. Now, of course, we got our training point spreadsheet updated. This is down below in the description of this video and pretty much every video I ever put out. But make sure if you do click this link, you go to File and make a copy, because these numbers, these values are going to change, and it's up to you to utilize this spreadsheet to calculate the cheapest training. So all you got to do is go to File, make a copy. It makes you rename the spreadsheet, and then you get to edit it yourself. So you can type in the number or the cost under the average cost section, and it will calculate the cheapest training out here. So we're going to look right at 89 overalls, 14.17 coins per training point. Don't buy anything, I would say, over 16. I would even say 15.5 coins per training point right now should be your goal. There's a lot of good stuff out there, and 89s are it. I don't know if it's because of all the the team standouts are in packs. There's an 89 to 90 overall team exchange, or not team exchange, but just exchange set. So I don't know if they're popping out because of that. The all pro packs were flying out 89s. But looking down the list, you can find cheap training almost every overall. It depends on how much you want to spend, but even if you look at like 85s for 14K, pretty good deal. 86s for 20K, pretty good deal. 89s, like we said, at 51K, you can definitely find them at 50 and under, which gets into the 13 coin per training point range, which is really, really cheap. And then even 90, 91, 92s, well, more 91 and 90s. Are, 15, low 15 coins per training point. So we'll take a look at the auction house here, and pretty simple to buy training. You're going to go for the associated overall and then sort by position and just go through each position, kind of, tab down or go down with your D-pad here and try to find 89s for 50K or under. So there's one for 51. I would not settle. The auction house is so active, even, Saturday evening, the night or the day is dwindling down. The auction house is still incredibly active right now. So just go and look for these 89s for 50K and under and get yourself some cheap training. And see, like, there's one that we were a little too slow there. I was moving very slow, but 49 100. So that's below what, I'm telling you to get. Here's some more for 51s. The 89s are abundant out there. So what are we doing with all this training that we are getting cheap? Well, number one, you can always buy it and hold on to it. I would expect it to go up in price, but not a ton, not enough to start flipping cards and making hundreds of millions of coins, but it's probably going to go up. I would think by the time Monday, Tuesday rolls around, we'll probably be looking at an average of 16 to 17 coins per training point. So if you just want to overall have some in your binder or in your collection, go ahead and do that. Remember, you can always buy these cards and then not quick sell them right away. If it comes a time where you need the training, then you quick sell it. That training value is not going to change on the overall. It's not going anywhere. Then if you decide you don't need the training, you can just sell the card, and chances are it is going to go up in price, which means you might make a little bit of coin. And when I say a little bit, I'm talking maybe 1 to 2,000. It's not a ton. You're not going to get rich off of it, but it's more than what you paid for it, and that's always a W. But what can we do with the training? So of course we have the training store, and it's been pretty, pretty steady with what's in there. Heavyweights, Rising Star, Veteran, Flashbacks. It appears that more than likely this Wildcard Wednesday, we're going to get 90 overall Rising Stars. The price of the pack will be 4,500. So you could think in advance here and get some cheap training, and with intentions to be opening up this pack coming up on Wednesday. Who are the cards going to be? We don't know. I think this one is more of a gamble, but it is an option out there if you want to, risk it or prepare. Rising Star the first time around had some pretty good cards. I would say, if we compared all of them, Veterans, Flashbacks, Heavyweights, Rising Stars, if we had them all fight in a battle royal, I think Rising Stars probably had the best card, especially with the first iteration. Second iteration, Heavyweights, Flashbacks, Veterans have all been kind of forgettable, to be honest, all the 90 overalls. What will Rising Stars bring us? So it might be a good idea to have some training saved up for that. Now, you can also think very far ahead, and we don't know if this is going to happen, but we know the Harvest promo, the Thanksgiving promo, I think it's called the Autumn Blast this year. Whenever promos come out, they typically have some type of training option. It hasn't been as good as last year. I wouldn't expect any type of like blitz offers that we've seen in years past, but just having some training for a new promo isn't a bad idea. If they somehow give us a pack that puts out cards related to a promo and you got a lot of training, a good idea usually is to buy those cards right away with the training and then sell them. It's a way to basically convert your training back into coins. But normally, like, you know, those lower overall cards that go into a set that gives you a bigger item, normally those cards are at their highest price as soon as the promo comes out. So that's an unknown thing right there. But if you want to take that risk, well, training is so cheap, it's something that I think you could, you know, think about. And you got to have some coins to be investing in this. If you guys are out here with like 500K or less, I don't really want you doing this because you're gambling with the unknown and we just don't know. But if you want to improve your lineup with training being so cheap, absolutely today is the day. So we all know that training is required to power up your players. And I've been trying to preach this. Now you're looking at my main team and you're seeing a bunch of players powered up, right? But I've been trying to preach this with my no money spent squad that it's not absolutely necessary to power up cards this early. Training has just been too expensive. We are now starting to reach a point where it's getting cheaper, and if there is a card that maybe you've been wanting to power up, it might be worth it. So if we look at my team, right, one thing that I'm kind of doing here and trying to stay strong with is look at my offensive line. Not powering up these guys because they've just been interchangeable. Eventually, we're going to get a better center, a better right guard, better left tackle, and we're going to start getting rid of these guys and then, you know, getting the new guys. And it's a waste of coin to power down a position so frequently, then power up that same position for a +1 or +2 overall. I'll tell you a story. Today, we added Steve McNair on the team, and we also added Ronnie Lott, both legends, right? I powered down Micah Hyde all the way with abilities on him and everything, and then I powered Randall Cunningham with abilities on him and everything all the way down. All the training that I got back into return was barely enough to power up just Steve McNair by himself and put Shaker on him. 0 abilities. So it just kind of goes to show you can power down 2 cards that are in the 90 overall range with abilities, and you're only getting enough back to power up 1 and not even put an ability on him. It is a coin dump, so be careful who you power up. With this account, of course, I'm able to power up a lot of cards because I have a lot of coins, I have a lot of training, I got flexibility. My no money spent squad, on the other hand, we're careful there. Out of everybody on my roster, I have 2 players powered up, Reggie Wayne and Jermichael Finley, because I really wanted their abilities. With the training being so cheap, it's something we can think about doing. So obviously, number 2 that you can spend your training on, if you didn't get my point years, training can be used to power up players, and because it's so cheap right now, it might not be a bad idea. A third thing is, and this one I bring up because I was absolutely shocked, somebody told me that they've been playing this game the whole year without any abilities on their players. Abilities are necessary in this game. Even if you don't power up a card, you can still put abilities on them. You got to power them up a little bit, but I'll use this Orlando Pace, as an example. I just got this card today. We're not powering him up, but we did use, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 training, or 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 training to have the option to put abilities on him, and then we put Edge Protector there. So you don't have to power up a card to put an ability, but I would strongly suggest, if you are not maximizing your 10 ability points on offense and defense, to do it right now. I'm going to quickly go over some of my favorite abilities. We're not going to do a whole deep dive on this. I'm actually going to save that for another video. But a lot of people ask, what ability should I put on this player or this position? Offensive lineman, left tackle, right tackle, good idea to put Edge Protector out there. Tight end, it doesn't really matter, to be honest, but tight end apprentice, I think any type of route apprentice is always good, so that allows you to change hot routes. One thing that I've done today to save a ton of ability points is we picked up the new McNair and we got Hot Route Master on him. So now we can change hot routes to anybody on our offense, and we don't have to use outside apprentice on McLaurin or Carmichael. We don't have to use slot apprentice on Stephon Diggs. We don't have to use tight end apprentice on Shannon Sharp. But these different apprentice options, if you don't have a guy with Hot Route Master, are really good because you get to change those various hot routes and the different routes on your specific players. Another one that's really good against man coverage is route technician. So we have that on our Stephon Diggs. For quarterbacks, escape artist is not the move this year. So if you're using that, I don't really notice a difference without it. That's something you might want to remove or get rid of. On defense, you know, your edge rushers, you always want to check out edge threat. You want to check out under pressure. And the other one that I use here on Ricky Jackson, I think buy one or double or nothing. So again, under pressure, double or nothing, edge threat, pretty good for your edge rushers. For cornerbacks, one question I get a lot is one step ahead or acrobat. As you can see, I like acrobat on like all of my defenders. We got it on Cromartie, Nnamdi, Ronnie Lott, DRC. I thought I had it on one other player. We had it on Taylor Mays at one point. It's just not activated. But acrobat is really, really fun to me. And then on your defensive guys on the inside, up front, inside stuff is really good. It stops a lot of the 0-1 trap and just inside zones in general. For the outside stuff, I would stick to the linebackers and, you know, outside ends with like edge threat and whatnot. So toy around with some different abilities. Today's a good day. Good thing about training being cheap is you can buy abilities. You do get like 90% of your training back if you decide you don't like this ability and you want to try another one. So that's something to keep in mind. You know, there's a little more flexibility. You can take a little more risk there, but powering up a card fully and then back down, that's where it gets dangerous. Also, today is a good day if you've been working with physical chems, and physical chems are things like Shaker, Sprinter, Brawler. Today's a good day to maybe max those out. I probably, right now, with training being so cheap, should go in and try to max out Shaker. Try to get 40-40 Shaker. I'm only 9 away. These give you different boosts. Which ones are the best? That's up to you. The top 3 are definitely Shaker, Brawler, and Sprinter. You know, Sprinter's going to give you faster players. Shaker's going to give you the +1 speed and change of direction and agility and acceleration. That's why I like it. Brawler's going to give you more strength. That's good for your defensive tackles, defensive ends, outside linebackers, offensive linemen. Brawler gives you a +1 to speed eventually, and you get some strength. Eventually, when training gets really, really cheap, you'll get to a point where you can put ×2 on like almost everybody, and then you can look out maxing like a Shaker and Sprinter on your skill players, your wide receivers, your cornerbacks, and then on your up front guys, offensive line, defensive line, go with Brawler. That's something I did last year. So today's a really, really good day to help out those physical chemistries. As far as which one's the best, I just prefer Shaker, but I think they all have their pros and cons. And then the last one that I've talked about in a previous video, Coach Madden is trash this year. Today is a good day because training's so cheap to upgrade your gold coaches. So if you have a gold coach, if you were unaware, it does take a lot of training. Look, every step it increases and it gets all the way to 2,500 training, but you can actually put chemistries on your coach. So we got a bunch of lockdown, play fake, go deep on our Doug Peterson card here. And I think it's a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 11 tiers. So you get 5 chems on offense, 5 chems on defense, and then of course the team chem. But again, training being so cheap, this is something I would highly recommend maxing out right now. Because if we go back to my team, just look at all the chemistries that we're rocking and how much of a boost they provide. A big question I always get is, how do you get your players with the blue overalls? It's mainly because of chemistries, and, you know, a big one like Lockdown being maxed out, we got that 50 of 50. I mean, that gives you +5 man, +5 zone. Maxing out my gold coach is a big reason why we're able to get there. And as you can see, we have Lockdown maxed out. We're starting to get there with pass rush. On offense, we got 40 go deep. We got 15 or 16 play fakes. So we're starting to get into double chems on offense and defense. Got to get that with your gold coach. That's going to help you a lot. So go get that cheap training. Lots of different things to use training on right now, but take advantage of it being cheap, because I do expect it to go up shortly. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. My name is Popular Stranger. I'm out. Peace.